Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Alchemy Pay. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into the shorter term moves here. Looking at this structure from the macro side here, obviously we've only got limited information from August in 2021, and we've been in a downtrend since this information has begun. Now, what we could be doing is looking to actually start to move away from the zone, but we also need to be very careful that within this structure, we aren't actually looking for continuation to the downside. So there's two ways that I'm looking at it. Within the bullish case, we'd be looking to extend to the upside. And within the bearish case, what we could still be looking at is the potential to see something like this, where we actually have this as a bigger B wave. Now, it is possible that even if this is a B wave, what we could get here is we could get an additional leg to the upside here, looking to actually come up and target some of these zones of this 14 up to this 14.35 to this lower range, which we've already interacted with, which would be this 50% line here of this 041 area. Now, because of this, this could also not be completed and we could still have further to come. So we're going to go over a couple of these potentials. But basically within this structure, what this could mean is that we could still see a move to the downside, potentially looking for a possibility to move towards this 1-to-1, which is actually sitting here at this 1.001552. Now, the other way we could look at this is with it falling short. The minimum requirement I'd be looking for, though, would be the 0.05899. So that would be a typical area that we could look for if we get a truncation. But alternatively, some of these lower levels would actually be quite interesting to bring us back into this bottom channel line. So we just need to be aware of the fact that there is still potential here that we could see this move come down lower. So we need to just bear that in mind. However, if we want to argue that we have a low in place here, what we could be looking at is a potential move to the upside that's extending out. Now, there was two ways I was looking at it. We're looking at this potential that in this case, we have this as a series of ones and twos, and then this move was starting to move to the upside. We, however, didn't move up to this typical zone that we were looking for a fifth wave for this internal count of this move here. Now, because of that, we need to be a little bit careful. It is technically possible this could be a truncated fifth wave in here, in which case this could then be a fourth wave. We did come down to this zone of this 2305, and we have started to reverse to the upside. So we need to see whether we actually just get a bounce here and we break back down again, or whether we actually continue to push to the upside. So I'm still tracking this, though it's not the neatest of structure here. But if this was what is playing out, what we'd want to see is a 5-wave move to the upside here, 3-wave move to the downside, and then starting to break back above some of these key levels and taking this high here and looking actually to push up towards this zone of this 0714 to this 0535 zone. So we'd want to see a nice clean 5-wave move to the upside there, but we do have some big levels above us here. So I'd be very cautious between this area here of this 04 to this 0328. Now there's a couple of areas of confluence within here with some naked point of controls and some of the fib relationships. So we need to be careful if we do move up into this zone. This could actually give us a resistance within this area, and we could actually look to continue to the downside if we do make it that high. Now, the other way that we could be looking at it is that possibly instead of looking at it in that way, we could argue that within this first move here, we have a diagonal pattern in here where this becomes 1-2. Now, if this is the case, what this could then mean is that within this structure here, we have 1-2, 1-2. So this is why I'm looking out for the potential of an extension here. For as long as we actually stay above this 0.144, we could look for the possibility of extending out here where we have this 1-2-3, looking for a fourth and a fifth. Now that fifth wave could potentially take us as high as this 2.675 to this 1978 area. If we do look at something like this, obviously we need a much more substantial move to the upside. This would only really be confirmed by a bigger break towards this zone of this 1636. So this would be looking at that possibility of a break to the upside. Now, within this move to the downside here, I'm still not looking at it as, fully completed yet. What I'm thinking here is that we still actually are within a correction here, where this is actually A, this is B, and then we're looking for the C wave. So the C wave 1-to-1 would actually be here towards this 0.1951, and I am looking at this still as a 5-wave move to the downside here. There is a couple of ways we can count this, however. What we need to be careful of is that this isn't another 1-2 here, and then we have 1, 2, and then basically this would mean that we're still within a third wave, and then we'd get an additional fourth and a fifth. So if we do actually get a 5-wave move to the downside here towards this zone of this 01970 to this 0178, we need to be cautious of the fact that we could see another 3-wave move to the upside and then a continuation to the downside. If this move starts to break down in a bigger way here, and we actually start to push down towards this zone of this 0.017 area, this is going to give us potential that this move actually from this high here is rather looking at it in this manner, where this would become 1, this would become 2, this all would become a third, fourth, and a fifth. So we really want to stay away from this 1618 because if we did have a 5-wave move to the downside like this, it would imply that this was going to be either a wave or potentially a wave 1. If this takes the low and we reach that 0.618, then it would suffice as a completed move. But if we fail to actually take this low, we need to just be very careful that this doesn't just become, like I said, an A wave here or a wave 1. We get a 3-wave move back to the upside, and then we actually look to take the low and break down deeper. So this is why we need to be a little bit cautious of this current move to the downside here. So what we're looking for is, if we are looking for this extension, basically we want to hold this lower range here of this 1892. Now we want to hold this zone, and we wouldn't really want to, and this is when we start to worry. Once we start to break down too much deeper than the 786, it starts to become less likely we'll see continuation to the upside. Invalidation is by crossing the 0144. So this is what I'm looking out for here, the possibility that we could see another push down, possibly towards this 786, which is sitting here at this 0189. Now, a move into this and then starting to break to the upside and taking this high would then give us, more indication that we could be seeing something like this as an extension. But we'd also need to just be careful that this isn't just a bigger corrective move to the upside, where we see something like this play out, where this is a bigger A, this becomes a B, and then we still see a C wave to the upside. Now, even if we do complete this as A, B, and C to the downside here, we need to, even if it does drop a little bit lower, what we need to be cautious of is the fact that if we get a 3-wave move to the upside, it could actually imply that this correction in itself is also not completed, and we could see this develop as A, B, C, X, and then possibly another 3-wave move for a Y wave, or it could just be A, B, and then we get a C wave to the downside. So we're going to have to just be careful of this. If we are looking at this as a potential to push up one more time, the invalidation is at this 00722. Breaking below this zone would be bad for this count as well. If we start to break below these levels, it becomes more likely that we're actually going to see those continuation down and looking for, much lower to come. Now, within this, what I'd be looking for is to see whether we still get this fourth and a fifth here. If we get a fourth and a fifth, then we could potentially look to reverse to the upside. And then I'd be keeping an eye on this center channel line again. Even at the moment, I'm keeping an eye on this. It's sitting towards this 03018. This could actually bring us, some resistance at this point. We could see this break down from here, where this becomes just a bigger correction here. Like I said, A, B, and then C. Now, within this, we do have some key levels here, which are quite interesting. The 0.618 would actually be bringing us back down into this channel line. It would also be bringing us back into this zone that I've got marked up here, which has got 4 daily naked points of control that haven't been touched. So we need to just be aware that these levels that I've got marked up, they are areas which haven't been tested again. So we need to see whether we actually move back into these levels. It is completely possible that we could even see, a bigger move to the upside here first, and then a break to the downside. So we need to just be aware of that. At the moment, I'm still looking for a fourth and a fifth, and we're going to go over that in a bit more detail now. Now, if we are looking to try and reverse to the upside here, what we would be looking for is the potential of seeing an impulse to the upside. So I'm actually going to come down here into the 1 hourly, and we're going to have a look at this. Now, I've got this marked up in this work, and it is technically possible, but I don't really like the internals. So if we look at this as a 1-2, we could argue that this is actually a 5-wave move here, where we've just had an extension within this wave 1. Wave 3 is still not the shortest wave, so technically speaking, it's still a plausible count here. What we could see is that this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're looking for a 5th wave to the upside. Now that 5th wave target could potentially bring us up towards this zone here. Of this 0291 to this 0278. So if we do get something like this, we could actually look to rally up in a 5th wave here, but invalidation of this would come by crossing this wave 1, which is sitting here at this 02291. If we do form an additional 5-wave structure to that, or an additional 5th wave here, basically what we'd then be looking for is that potential to have a retracement again. Now, if we do form a 5-wave move like this 02239 is going to be a key level that we don't want to break. We want to see this move come back down here in 3 waves, looking to retest some of these zones here. 0.618 would be quite an interesting area here, which is sitting at this 02356, and then looking to progress again in a 5-wave sequence to the upside and looking for that bigger push here. Now, like I said, I'm not too keen on this as a count at the moment, just because of the fact that typically speaking, we see the wave 3 extend. So what I'm looking out for here is, that this could also just be WXY. And that fits into our bearish count of a 4th, which would go into the count that I'm kind of looking for Bitcoin. But really, if we continue to maintain this low here of the 02100, we can look for the potential to push up again one more time. Now, key zone here as a 4th wave would be this 2411. We don't want to lose that area. It would also bring us back into this previous 4th and a retest of these highs here. See if we have a support resistance flip over here, and we could actually come back here, back test this zone, even possibly, swing fail this, and then look to push to the upside in a 5-wave structure. So we need to see if we get something like this. We do have this little level above us as well, which I'm having a look at, and we've got 2 daily naked points of control, which are lying within this area. As well as that, we have a zone here, which is the 0.382, which is at the top of this box, which is towards this 02793. So, this little area here between the 02793 to this 02734, if we do get an additional push up here, I'm going to be watching how this reacts around this level here. We also do have, obviously, this little swing over here, which is sitting towards this 2769. So that would be interesting to keep an eye on. If we do actually look to swing fail this, it could actually then look to break down from that point, and then from there we'd have to see whether we get the support that we're talking about. At the moment, I am treating this as a completed move here. It's possible though, however, we could have an additional 4th and a 5th, really, for as long as we stay above that 50% line of this move here, which would actually be from this point here. We could actually still see one more little leg to the upside, in which case, if as long as we stay above the zone of this 2587, we could look for that potential to have one more push to the upside and come into this gray box area before looking to complete these other counts that we're looking at. So now, if we are wanting to look at this slightly different, we could also argue we have something like this, where this becomes an extension. So what we'd be looking for here, and I've just drawn these into here because these are going to be the ones that confirm it or deny it, but it would be looking at this potentially as a 1-2, 1-2, and then looking for the potential that we've actually got this as another 1-2, 1-2 here, and then we're starting to break up. Now, these are unreliable. You need to price action follow through with it within these counts. When you're looking at 1s and 2s like this, you want to see another 5-wave structure to the upside developing here, looking to push us up towards this 0307, and then looking for this move to have an additional 4th wave here, and then a push up towards this 3225 to this 3131 area. Now, this would be a typical 5th wave area. If we did move up into this zone, what we could then see here is we could have an additional structure to the downside in a 3-wave move, which would then come to basically retest this zone here. And I'd be interested in seeing whether we settle back above this level here and then actually look to push up into this higher level, which we have a lot of confluence with certain zones. In this higher zone here, we have a couple of things within here, and I'm actually going to just turn them on so we can see them. So we have towards the lower end of this, we have a couple of naked points to control. The yellow ones are the weekly ones, the red ones are the daily ones. So we can see here there's quite a few areas within here. We have a 0.618 and a 0.65 of the move to the downside as well. So golden pockets sitting right in this little zone here as well. So, we do have a little bit of confluence within here. We also do have towards the higher end of this a monthly naked point of control, and we have this 786 up here as well. So, we've got this whole little zone here. Towards the lower end, I would be interested. We've got a lot of confluence here. But then as well, if we do push towards the top end of this move, towards this 0.786 and this 0.400, obviously this is going to be a psychological level as well. We've got some swing highs here that we could see a reaction off of if we do actually end up pushing that high. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on those higher levels there and see if we actually get, some kind of a reaction off those zones. So I'm just going to turn those back off now. So this would be looking for that possibility of extending out. Now, what I'm thinking is going to actually play out here is that we are still within a corrective structure here. So I'm looking at this as A, B, and C. So those other counts are possibilities, but I want to see whether this one actually maintains. First, this would be my primary count, looking for the possibility that we could actually see continuation to the downside here now. And like I said, we need to be careful that this is just not a corrective structure where this is W, X, and Y, because all we've got is really 3-wave moves here. They've got 5-wave internals, but we don't have, good structure currently. So we need to see whether we continue to confirm this move here. But really, as long as we stay below this zone of this 2726, what we could see is a continuation to the downside in a 5th wave, which could look to push us down towards a zone of this 1970 to this 1785, which would actually tie into that 1-to-1 that we have here at the 0.1951. So, there's a little bit of confluence within this area of zones we could actually look to break into here. So if we do start to reject down here in a bigger way, get a bigger 5-wave move to the downside, I will be keeping an eye on this area as a possible ending point here. Now, if we do start to break down deeper, what we need to be cautious of, like I said earlier, is if we do start to break down in a bigger way, we could actually look to come down towards this zone of this 1.618, and that could then be implying that we're actually getting extension within this wave. And what we have here from the beginning is actually that this is a 1, 2, this is a bigger 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how exactly we react off these levels. We have had a nice strong bounce here, but it needs to follow through, because at the moment, like I said, all we've got is 3-wave structure to the upside here, and we've got some very big levels above us. Even if we want to look at this as an ABC completed as A, B, and C, what we could then have is, this could be an A wave. We could get a 3-wave move to the upside here and actually look to reject off of these levels that we were discussing earlier, and then actually look to break down from this point where this whole move becomes a bigger structure. And what we get from this is basically a bigger A, B, and a C, in which case, that could look to bring us back down to towards some of these key levels. We've got some interesting zones as well as some swing failure potential lower down here, so be keeping an eye on these. Even this 5th wave, it would be a retest of some of these levels here, this low here, and possibly, testing this, and we could see a reaction off that area. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.